you're like, I will do some of that, but it's like, you just never know,
We should
right? It's like you don't
we
know. And
should
so
talk about how Shron onboarded because I think that would be super helpful for people who are bringing in high-level executives, directors, partners. Do you wanna hit on that?
I mean, we can. It wasn't even as planned because I ended up having to
No, but I love what you did. I mean, so, the first thing that Sharon did, which a lot of people, so this is, I think this is kudos to Sharon because he has zero ego, which is why he is as successful as he is. But a lot of, partners, execs, even directors, depending like leaders, I'll just say, might come into a company and just be like, all right, what's my 30, 60, 90? And there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. But Sharon just was like, okay, I'm going to meet every single person who works at acquisition.com from like the bottom of the org chart all the way up. And he was like, this gets me so much rapid context and I'll have rapport and he basically onboarded himself within 10 days and talked to, 100 plus people in that period of time. And was like, he came back and was like, I understand what's going on now, which is better than like you trying to write a 16-page document that because the thing is it's always going to be one person's perspective. Whereas if you get 100 different perspectives, you actually get such a three-dimensional view of the company rather than 2D kind of paper version. I'll also say that from a speed of growth perspective, if we think about the speed of a business can be derived from the speed of their ability to make decisions, right? Well, it's like then what speeds up decision making ability? So one part is data. Well, actually, data is going to be the biggest one. But when you don't have, in the absence of data, you have patterns, right? You have basically past data that you can extrapolate in the future. And so to your point, Layla, it's like we might say, hey, based on reasoning, just on logic and what we know about the world, we believe this is a good direction or a good decision. And having someone who has that pattern that's already recognized, be like, yeah, already did that. Like that's the right call. Or yes, and add this piece because this will come up later. It has compressed what would be maybe multiple hour, 2 hour long discussions to then being finally like, all right, let's just do it. But that whole process might take 2 weeks or 4 weeks to make that call, which then can now be done in 30 minutes. But then tomorrow we have another 30-minute decision. And the day after we have another 30-minute decision. But each one of those would have been 2 to 4 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks. And like that's where you can see why a company can grow at 10 times the rate, 100 times the rate of others, because minutes versus months is a massive difference when we look at timescales for growth. And I think that's one of the other massive unlocks that I mean, I'm excited that you've already given us, but even more in the future.
You mean just how we make decisions?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think part of that too is like we're usually like this, and I feel like you have the unique, like you've done a lot of things like by having both the sets of skills. So like you can flex on either side, and so like you bring a really like grounding middle ground. And I don't think I ever disagree with you.
No, no, well, thank you. But I think the interesting part about the onboarding, which people need to know, is the thoughtful. Like Layla wrote me a 16 to 20 page onboarding plan, which was amazing because that allowed me to saying, all right, let me read through that. And the interesting part about that was not the plan itself, was seeing Layla's thought process on how the world works. And I think that most people will just say, okay, cool. Hey, let's do a press release and bring this person on board. And hey, for the first few months, just meet people. I'm like, no, you had 90 days of like ramping up. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like you need to make impact today. And so Alex hit the nail on the head where if the organization is somewhat larger, especially if there's a hybrid component to it, you can't wait for rapport. You need rapport and patterns very quickly. And so if you're talking to people and five of them say this is what they love about the company, that reinforces what that is. And if three of them say this is the same issue, that reinforces what that is. And you learn it very quickly and you learn it from natural patterns. And that also allows for rapport. So if you're newer in a company, I would suggest focusing on rapport and patterns. That would be very, very helpful. And the second is to be super impactful. You have to find the most granular thing that happens in the business. So for us, it was me going through every single line item in our P&L,
Yeah.
right? And so I know you know everything because where the money goes is where the business invests. And once you know that, you know where everything is at. So if you're in a marketing organization, you should know every single metric, every single channel, and that allows you to kind of figure out that is the pattern in a lot of ways. So people think about learning top down, you want to learn bottom up because that allows you to know what the culture of decision making happens. That's what